There we go. That's not so bad. After about 20 minutes of messing with lighting. Hey everyone, welcome to Boards and Swords. I'm Chris Renshaw. No fancy on-location intro for you guys this week, as currently kind of trying to stay inside as much as possible. I'm not showing symptoms, but there are people in my household that have started showing COVID symptoms and have been tested, so definitely keeping my distance, which helps. Being down here trapped in this little box here on your video screen does help there. So hopefully safe thoughts to them that everyone, it turns out okay. It kind of segues into the main point of this week's video, but it's kind of weird because it's not like in the middle or whatever, it's just kind of right here. And that is having to deal with this COVID crisis, and that, you know, it could be like, we're still looking at like a year of, you know, depending on who you listen to, could be 6 months, could be a year. I don't want to see any of that. If you argue any of that down in the comments, I'm not listening to any of that. But what I want to know, and what I'd like to hear some feedback on, is what are you doing to keep kind of your sanity? So I'm looking for people like me, where they're I'm a very social person, and gaming provides that kind of outlet to let off all that social energy. So while my family's introvert, I have to kind of like ward myself, as in like not like be all up in their face, because that's just gonna stress them out. So you get that kind of feeling where it's like you're not getting that energy release that you would normally get. And I mean, I know there's online gaming, and I still do that. I use Tabletop Simulator. We have our weekly Arkham horror game, so I get that, and you know, I'll play RPGs on Roll20 or whatever, so I get that, but sometimes it's not exactly the same. I mean, honestly, one of the ways I've been kind of trying to do this and releasing kind of that is through creative energy. That's why you see a lot of blog posts and stuff going up on the website. It's why these videos have been so important to me, is a way of just talking and connecting with people on whatever level we can. So people that have been engaging with them through Reddit and Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you've interacted with these videos, I highly appreciate it. Another way I've been doing it is through, I've been getting more into painting again, finally. You'd think I'd started this from the beginning, but I'm finally now just starting to get into some painting. I'll grab the camera here in a second and show you the kind of the little bit of what I've done. So I've been trying to get caught up again on like my years long project of painting Zombicide Black Plague. I've about halfway through all the heroes, and once I get like I think there's like 25, 30 heroes I have left, and it'll be done. It'll be complete. Everything will be fine until I figure out another game to do. So yeah, that's kind of some of the stuff that I've been doing, but I wanted to hear other ways people, because this is not a just me problem. I know there are probably several people out there like me, and not only is this a giving ideas for me, it's kind of like a checkup of, hey, how are you doing? How are you managing this? And just opening up that dialogue, so that if you have that kind of feeling as well, you can open up to me, letting you know, comments, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, and have that conversation too of someone that's in a very similar boat. And I know there's solo gaming, all right? We can go into that, where there's the solo gaming where that fulfills the need for playing games, but that doesn't hit the social aspect that I'm looking for. So I'm not denying that social gaming is that solo gaming is important, and I am doing it to just kind of get that, you know, playing through some games and just to get that, scratch that gaming itch, but it doesn't scratch that social itch. And the social itch is kind of where I'm going. What I do have for when I finally am able to play games with the family again is I have gotten in a bunch of stuff this week. I'm going to talk about related to the video last week, or in the video before, where I was talking about my list. So this if you want to do this, is the Amazon wish list segment. So in my RPG book kind of wish list sort of thing, things I picked up this week is I got another Force and Destiny book. This one's Disciples of Harmony, and this is the book for consulars, who I think that's like, I want to say that's like sages and diplomats. So I want to say this is like your Obi-Wan Kenobi type character kind of thing. So I've got this. I think this means I only have like 1 or 2 Force and Destiny books left. That's one of the reasons I got this one, is it was one of the only ones left that I could get on Amazon. Some of the other ones have gone, are harder to get, probably because of the whole Asmodee shutting down the RPG portion of Fantasy Flight and moving it to Edge Entertainment. I wonder if that's why some of the books have been kind of hard to find. So this was the first one I got. And then I added like 6 more books onto this wish list, mainly because I had seen a Reddit thread talking about, it was like, what kind of books would you recommend for someone designing a game? And I happened to be designing a game. I didn't post this, but I saw this. I swear it wasn't me. So I saw someone recommend this book, The Complete COBOL Guide to Game Design, or at least the older version of this book. This is what they linked to. This is the 2nd edition I found. And I was like, okay, it was cheap enough. I'll give it and it's got essays by a bunch of people in the RPG community. And, you know, I'm sure most of this information is probably available, like the types of things they're saying in here is going to be online somewhere in various different places. But I wanted to, you know, because I've interested in some of these people, I wanted to see what their thoughts and opinions were. And, you know, I thought it might be a good read. And I found out that there's a whole series of these Cobalt guides, where there's a world building one, there's a game mastering one. So I put them all on my list. And so in the hopes that at some point, you know, relating to last week's video, talking about how I'm trying to improve as a GM. So this was the other thing that I picked up off that wish list. This is not on that Amazon wish list, but I did want to talk about it just because one of the things I have been doing to game a lot is I've been playing a lot of Pokemon, the TCG, because the wife and I love Pokemon, and so we will go and get packs and booster packs and open them, and we just love looking at all the different characters and collecting all the Pokemon and building decks and sorting through cards. And it's a neat way. It's one of the ways we've been kind of hanging out and doing gaming related stuff together. Well, they just recently released this into Target, so I'm assuming at some point it will probably come to game stores, maybe. But it's basically a board game version of the TCG. It's the Pokemon trading card game Battle Academy. And it's basically a box that you could keep on your shelf that has everything you need to play the TCG, but it looks like a board game. It's no joke. This is the card game, but it's sold in the board game section, and it's set up like a board game. And the way it's set up is also so that you could pull this off the shelf, open it up, sit down and play with somebody. And it's already got decks with some cool cards, but also no decks that are like super overpowered. So you got to be like, oh, you're going to stomp me with your awesome custom deck. No, look, there's a Pikachu deck, there's a Pikachu deck, there's a Charizard deck, there's a Mewtwo deck. None of them have type advantages on each other. So it's just like, hey, which of these characters do you like best? Pick them up and play. So it's got 3 decks. It's still for 2 players, but it's got 3 decks in here. Next, in the stuff sent to me for review, it was just last week where I was talking about I wasn't going to try and waste any energy on D&D, but the Theros book finally came in. So I did request this a while back, and so therefore at some point, once I get I still have this in the Rick and Morty D&D box, that at some point you will see reviews of this on the website. But for the future, I probably won't request any more D&D books. If they ship them to me, I'll review them. But I'm not gonna for the reasons that I mentioned in last week's video, which I'll link up there. I'm not gonna like actively seek out like I may have in the past. Secondly, I'm super excited, or at least I will be once I can play with the family again, is to get back around to playing Funkoverse, because I have a ton of new Funko stuff to play, and I'm so excited. It's Back to the Future and Jaws. So now I can have like Batman and Rick from Rick and Morty versus a shark and Doc Brown, or Doc Brown and Marty versus Rick and Morty, which would be kind of like the ideal thing, since they're one's kind of based on the other. So it's a bunch of super cool stuff. This one, so see, it looks like Marty comes with a hoverboard, of course, and obviously the shark one is like him jumping out of the water kind of thing. I don't know if you can see it on there. So make sure you check out wherever you've been getting. If you've been playing along with any of the Funkoverse stuff, make sure you check out and keep an eye on for those sets soon. If you haven't tried Funkoverse, you really need to, because it's a very light and intro game to kind of like if you've ever seen like a Warhammer 40K kind of game, and like that looks kind of fun, but A, you didn't really feel the big, huge, massive armies, and B, you just wanted something light and playful, then you definitely want to give the Funkoverse a try, because it's got awesome characters that you might like to play. It's a very easy system to learn, and you don't even need the big, huge box. If you're not sure about this at all, you can pick up one of these smaller, they call these like the 100 boxes, the little 2-figure boxes. And that has everything you need for 2 players in there as well. You can't do a whole lot since it's only going to be a 1 versus 1, but you can play just with what's in the box, and then if you want other stuff, you can use that and build on and have other characters. So lots of fun. There's a review of that, which I will try and remember to link right up there. For this week's kind of check this out bit, I have a video here that I'm going to link, and it's from a YouTube channel called Toy Galaxy, and this is a little bit more popular than what I want to reference in these type areas. I'd like to reference kind of smaller content creation stuff and highlight these, but the topic around this was something that was very personal to me, so that's why I had to watch it, and I feel like I have to share it in this bit, because it's called The History of BattleTech, the Animated Series. So for those of you who don't know, there was a game that FASA made called BattleTech, and it started out, I want to say it was like a mini/board game sort of thing. I think this only has like standees, but you could get like metal and I think metal at the time, metal minis for it. So you can see I have it here. The reason I bring this up is because, first of all, for those of you who don't know, and that may be BattleTech fans or whatever, there was an animated TV show for BattleTech. In fact, that's what got me into the BattleTech world to begin with. Is I was a kid, we were watching it on whatever channel it was, I want to say it was like Fox Kids or something, and I loved this show. I loved this show. I don't think I could watch it now, because especially they do this like tacky early 90s Battlezone looking 3D modeling tech, CGI. I doubt it holds up. But apparently it was only 12, 13 episodes, which boggles my mind, because I always felt like, when you think back, you feel like I watched this so much that it had to have been more than that, but it must have been either I didn't watch as much as I thought, or I just watched a bunch of reruns and didn't realize it. But I loved this show. Me and my brother loved this show so much that like we had toys, and that's another thing where it was like, I thought I only remembered 1 or 2 toys, but once in this video talking about it, they scrolled through a list of a bunch of the BattleTech toys, and I was like, oh, I remember that one, and I remember this one, and I remember that guy. Oh crap, maybe we had more of these than we thought. So me and my brother loved BattleTech, and we loved getting into this. And the reason I bring this up, and the reason this is important, is again tying back to this FASA game, is we got so into this game that into this show, and so when we found out it was a game, like we jumped all on it. Like we were so excited. I don't think we've ever actually played anything in this box, but one of the things we did and we love to do is you can make custom mechs. Like you had these filled out these blank sheets. And so you could pretty much say that BattleTech was kind of the intro of me into modern gaming. Although modern, you could put like a big caveat on. Not just in this sort of minis war game sort of sense. Even though we didn't play it, we were into the theme. But around when I was in high school, when I was about a freshman in high school, is when RPGs became apparent to me. And I had seen some other people play, and there was a bunch of people at school playing the White Wolf RPG, and I knew Dungeons and Dragons were a thing. But my family wasn't really comfortable at the time with me playing D&D or playing the White Wolf with all the gore and stuff. They were like, please don't. So, but I was still like, I love this idea of an RPG. So we had gone to a store, it was like a comic shop. It's like, from what I remember of it, it was like the definition of like a greasy 90s or early 2000s comic shop. It ended up going away like a couple years later before I really got into gaming. And that's where, I got the dice that's here. This is my first set of polyhedral dice that I keep in this nice thing. If you saw my tweets or my pictures about that. But secondly, when we were at the shop, might have been the same shop we picked up this BattleTech game from, and I just knocked a bunch of stuff over. I got this. So this is the first RPG book I ever owned. This is MechWarrior, the BattleTech role-playing game. And this was my life freshman year of high school. Like every day during lunch, we would be running games. Whenever I'd go on scouting trips, I'd be taking this and we'd be playing games. Now, I don't think I ever played the game according to the rule. Like we built the characters, and like they've got all these little pre-gen kind of things that we would definitely have people play this, but we kind of took the rules and went in our own direction with it and kind of made. We were early teenagers, so it was like we were making stuff up as we went along. But yeah, this is definitely this has definitely gotten its use here. You can see how faded and stuff this is. And I actually have the most recent edition or at least that I'm aware of, that Catalyst Games put out which from what I hear, it's the same system. So I've never had a chance to play because it seems very intense, and there's only like one other person that's kind of mildly interested in it. So this has kind of been on my wish list to play for the longest time. I never see a game of this running at Gen Con or any sort of con. So I really need to bust this out at some point, because I feel like this could be fun and entertaining. In fact, I'm kind of tempted just to run it as is out of the second edition book down here. But I may have to, I don't know. Or maybe I'll do a read along. That might be cool. Let me know in the comments below. First of all, what's the oldest RPG book you have in there? And oldest, I don't mean in the sense of what's what historical wise is the oldest, because I've got older books down here too from like first edition D&D. But like, what's the first RPG book that you've ever bought? And if you haven't bought one, what would you like your first RPG book to be? So if you don't have one, but this is mine. And secondly, let me know if you'd say, would you like me to, I could do a read along or just reading through some of this sort of thing. So yeah, go check out that video. I'll have it linked in the show notes as well, and learn a little bit about because it may seem trivial and it may seem like a short-term thing, but for me, that was kind of the gateway of, like, without that show, I don't know if I'd be right here doing this video with you right now, talking about all these board games and tabletop games. Like, I want to think that I'm as big of a dork, I would have found it a different way, and maybe I would have had a different entry point. For the most part, like, that was the source that led me into all this crazy world. So I haven't read any of the BattleTech books, none of that. Like, this and the books I have is about as far as it goes. So if you've got any cool other BattleTech stuff, feel free to throw those comments down there below, because I'd love to have some recommendations on that as well. All right, different side view here, mainly because I'm on the computer, because Gen Con Online event tickets are now available. And so when I was combing through the list, I found some really interesting events, and I wanted to share these with you. First up is this one's a craft one. So you know you have all sorts of things. It's Quilting 102. It's a poop mug rug workshop. Poop mug rug. Learn the basics of quilting while you create a poop block or mug rug. So I was a little bit more hoping it was a poop mug. Like, I feel like that would have been better. But want to learn to quilt? You only need basic knowledge of sewing to take this class. You'll learn how to go over the basics, how to rotary cut fabric, how to piece a block, and how to add borders. So that's kind of interesting. I love seeing all the craft things, and I feel like online is definitely a space where you can get these type of things that creators that normally may not be able to go to these cons can have these sort of seminars that you wouldn't get before. So if you're looking for poop blocks or mug rugs, you can check that out. Next one we have is, this is a seminar that I don't know why you would. I think it's free. Yeah, it's a free event, but I don't know why you would waste your Gen Con with this, because I feel like all this information's already out there and covered in so many other places. But it's a sale of TSR to Wizards of the Coast. How the deal with the world's first role-playing game company was negotiated and sealed. Ben Riggs has interviewed those who were there and can tell the first time the whole story. So I guess maybe if this is a more, think like documentary, but live streamed kind of documentary, I mean, that's interesting. But again, I feel like this isn't the first person. Like, if this guy had been there, sure, but like, I feel like other people have interviewed those people and shared that story. Like, I'm sure if you just Googled sale of TSR to Wizards of the Coast, you could find everything in here. So I'm not blaming the guy for having it. It's more of this would be something that, like, if I didn't have, this would be more of in the moment at a Gen Con. If I just needed to free up, or I had a free couple hours and just wanted to sit and relax, then I might do something like this. But in an online state, I don't know if it really matters. This next one, they're only getting better from here. I promise you, they're only getting better. This one is How Not to Be Kidnapped by Cowwomen, Norwegian Fairy Tales and Folklore for Your RPG Campaign. I saw that title and I was like, this has to go into this video. So, tired of boring orcs and goblins? Yes. How about cow-tailed women talk? Yes. Talking polar bears? Yes. And troll eating contests? Heck yeah. Get inspiration from Norwegian folklore from a real Norwegian and looking for some like variety. So heck yes, this sounds awesome. I may have to add this to my seminar. So it's done that Saturday, 7:30. It's 2.5 hours, but this seems like it could be really fun. And it definitely, if you're playing your standard D&D dungeon crawler kind of game and looking for something different, you're gonna wanna check this thing out. And then this last one, this was sent to me because it's me. And this is a game that is just perfect for a Gen Con online. You couldn't get this at a regular Gen Con. As sad as it may be, it's just like the piece de resistance on this kind of thing. It's Trouble on the Sphinx. It is a how to RPG with your cat session. This is bring your own cat to participate with you in this short sci-fi adventure. Harnesses your feline's chaotic powers to make them an integral part of the game. How freaking awesome is that? Playing an RPG and using your cat and all of its crazy aspects in there. They even have like items they want you to bring in a thing. I don't know if I could get my cats to stay still, or at least to be around the camera enough to do this. Like, this is one of those, like, it could be so weird that I don't know if I'd play in it, but I'd love to watch it. Like, can they live stream this? Because this would be great. And it's one of those I'd like to see it first before I really jumped into it. So let me know what you're playing this year at Gen Con Online. Throw it down in the show notes. Some of the other stuff I managed to pick up tickets for is like the new Root RPG to try. Some games I've had on the shelf here that I've been wanting to play, like Call of Cthulhu and Dungeon Crawl Classics. So I'm excited. You know, it's not the same as a normal Gen Con, but at least I can get, you know, time back into that main segment, a little bit more of that people interaction as much as we can get in this current environment. So now let's switch back around. And that about wraps up this vlog. So once again, I'd like to have some photos of your gaming spaces so that I could show them off and look at how cool they are and maybe give me some ideas for stuff. So make sure you send those in, chris@boardsandswords.com, and make sure to like and subscribe for other great videos, because that really helps in the YouTube algorithm sort of thing. Go check out the website for other great stuff. Did not have an Arkham thing this week. On Tuesday we had a review of Snowman Dice that Colin and Cindy did. It was in an old Boards and Swords episode, but we clipped that out, and just like with the Cat Cafe one. And if you wanted to see just that interview, or just that review, or if you're interested in that game, now you can watch just that review in its entirety. Wednesday, I did a Marvel Champions post again. This time I did the Black Widow deck versus Rhino Solo, and it was so, I think I have a new favorite deck. So make sure you go check that out. No dirtbags this week because I've been dealing, I mean, it'll be amazing enough if this vlog gets put together, because I've been kind of running around getting tested and making sure everybody's got what they need. So thanks for watching. Leave some comments below. And until next time, may all your hits be crits.